Yeah, well, we've got, of course, ActionSA's Eastern Cape Chairperson, Athol Trollip, who's weighing in now on that matter in Komani. Mr. Trollip, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. There's so much to talk about here because you've got a community that said, well, we will take this matter all the way to the courts because we want services in Komani. The organization there, of course, was Let's Talk Komani, and Mfundo Chekeche there you heard speaking about this financial recovery plan signed off by Cabinet is an order of the court, and yet it still has not been implemented. What do you make of what's happening in that municipality?
Good evening. Look, this is just typical of what's happening in almost every single municipality in South Africa. But Enoch Mgijima, or Komani, formerly Queenstown, is a really sorry case in point. It is the fourth biggest municipality in the Eastern Cape, and it's probably one of the most dysfunctional. And despite Cabinet's demand that there's a recovery plan, despite the fact that Cabinet appointed a special cabinet representative, Dr. Monde Tom, to go basically and become an administrator of that municipality in 2022 in May, they have simply been running that municipality into the ground systematically. For example, 5 years in a row, they tabled an unfunded budget. You drive through the main street of that town and you'll see that the town hall is burnt down. A beautiful historical building was burnt down because the SIU came to do an audit on municipal affairs, and all of a sudden the municipal buildings caught alight, so that there are no records to be investigated. So we have a maverick municipality that just does as it pleases, ignores cabinet resolutions, ignores cabinet representatives. A number of organizations have taken this municipality to court. It's very difficult to take government institutions to court because they use your own money to fight court battles against you. So we've seen many efforts come and go. We've seen various civil organizations or civic organizations coming together to stand together to oppose what's going on in the municipality. But almost always at the end of the day, either at an election or when somebody's interests are being infringed or possibly prejudiced, then the default position is to go back to support the governing party, which is the ANC. Now, there's another call for the dissolution of this municipality, and the question is, will it make any difference?
Yeah.
I would like to answer the question and say, if you do nothing, it will certainly make no difference. And if I could quote Marcus Aurelius, former Roman Empire, who said, doing nothing is the commission of an injustice, or you commit an injustice by doing nothing. And I would venture that there's just been too much injustice in Enoch Mgijima. And if the people are really serious about calling for a dissolution of that municipality, they will have to understand that there will have to be a new election. And in order to get different people into the government to run the town differently, people will have to change their voting habits or voting patterns. And up until now, we haven't seen that happening.
Yeah. Are you in Komani? Are you in the Enoch Mgijima Municipality? Send us a WhatsApp on 072-110-5584. The reason why I ask our viewers to do that for us, Athol, is because I'm really looking to get a sense of what service delivery looks like in Komani. Let's Talk Komani's Mfundo Chekeche, when we spoke to him, he talked about 25 days of no power for community members of Komani. I mean, that's unthinkable. And this is at a time when everyone's thinking about upgrading their meters, but for Komani residents, they've got weeks of no power. So upgrading, I suppose, a meter means nothing to them at this point.
Yeah, look, I don't live in Komani.
No, I was asking the viewers, yes, but I'm looking for what you understand about what the service delivery issues look like.
Sure. So I just want to say that, as the provincial chairperson of ActionSA, I go to Komani regularly because it is such a problematic municipality. We've got some really good representatives there that have been part of a number of initiatives to bring civil society together with other political parties to raise awareness about what's going on in this municipality. And I can quite comfortably say that there have been times in Komani when they've been without electricity for 21 days or more. And if it wasn't for a very prominent business person in Komani, who often puts his hand in his own pocket and fixes electrical infrastructure, water infrastructure, the situation would be much more dire. So we have a government there that has abdicated all responsibility. We see every year that there's annual flooding in Komani, and the same communities get flooded year in and year out. People don't respect spatial planning. There's no real engineering influence in preventing these kind of disasters recurring annually. And for all intents and purposes, if you travel, especially in the townships, road infrastructure has all but disappeared.
Yeah.
It's just a maze of potholes and untrafficable roads. And, the people of Komani, sadly, it's a special economic development node as well, because it's on the axis between Johannesburg and East London and Cape Town and Durban. Those two major roads intersect in Queenstown or Komani, and it has one of the fastest growing populations. It is a sprawling municipality that has some small rural town municipalities that are almost completely unserviced, and they get nothing from the municipality. And the people that live in the major center of Komani, they too don't get service delivery. So for all intents and purposes, well, you might not as well have a municipality.
A crisis is what I hear. Before I let you go, Athol, just talk to me about a message as we wrap up in 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Who needs to step up for Komani?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Could you repeat that?
Who needs to step up? Who needs to step up?
Yeah, look, I think I want to commend the people of Komani for trying and for the number of initiatives they've put together to try and work together. But doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome, doesn't work. It's the definition of madness, actually. So I think that the only way that you get change and improve government is by voting for an improved government and not repeating the same patterns that you've done in the past and then protesting about the outcomes of those patterns. So I want to encourage the people of Komani and Enoch Mgijima Municipality and those that live in the Chris Hani District Municipality to say that you can have better. I mean, there are many examples in South Africa of much better run similar municipalities, and there's no reason why it has to be like that. Historically, my colleagues in Komani tell me about growing up in Queenstown. I met my wife in Queenstown. It was a beautiful town, and it had a beautiful garden in the middle of town opposite the Hexagon Hotel. It was just one of the most splendid towns in the Eastern Cape. Now, there's nothing left of that, and it's just a sad shadow of what it was. But you can change things by changing the dispensation, and that's what South Africans need to understand. You can bring about change if you really want it.
Yeah. Athol Trollip, we really do appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Of course, ActionSA's Eastern Cape chairperson speaking to us there.